So my goal is to simplify my code quite a bit, to be able to do something like, and I'm going to start out doing this with my nav bar. I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to have a simple component here by being optimistic, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say nav. I'm going to assume that I could end up connecting. And so this is going to be, if you look at this thing that I'm passing into connect is actually a presentational component, right? This really is the definition of a presentational component. But if this is going to work, I'm going to have to need to pass props in here. So if this is going to work, I'm going to have to pass foods as well as bars. Now this connect component doesn't work, doesn't exist. And I'm going to end up cheating a little bit by going over here, modifying this a little bit. I'm going to start out with my nav bar, but I'm going to create this connect component. The way that I'm going to end up creating it is that connect is going to end up getting passed in a component, right? It's going to end up getting passed in a component, and it's going to end up returning a stateful component. So it's going to get passed in a component that's not stateful, and I'm just going to call this connected. And I'm going to go over here, and when I call this, I'm going to return connected. I'm going to put this on the top as well. So here, instead of going over here and doing this, what I'm going to do here is that you're going to pass me in a presentational component, and I'm going to wrap it and subscribe here. When I go to render, if there's any change in my state, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to render this component, and I'm going to pass you my state. I'm going to splat it out. So you're going to end up getting my foods and my bars here. Right now, this is going to only end up working with the nav bar, hopefully. So here's our nav bar. It works okay. But I'm going to do the exact same thing with these other components as well. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to really get rid of all this state on this component. And this is going to be my stateful component. So this is going to be, my connected component. This is going to be foods. I'm going to connect. Again, I'm passing in a function, which is a presentational component, right? That's what a presentational component needs to be. So now I've got my foods. I'm calling this. This is my presentational component. These are going to be my foods. I really only need my foods, so I'm going to put them here. And my foods component should end up working. And I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of actually going over here, I'm going to make this a little simpler here. So we're able to wrap around a presentational component by doing this. And here is bars, because that's all that this component cares about. This is going to be add random bar, and this is going to be bar, bar, bars, and one more bar. And so now I'm basically, let me actually pull this other bars out so I don't get an error. Now if you look at my components, my app component is no longer passing anything down. I've got my presentational components here, and I could break them out and call them something else, but I could just put them right in line. Here's my presentational component right in line with my connect. Connect, when I call it, ends up returning a class component that's going to end up rendering the presentational component that's passed in. And so now I've got my bars and I've got my foods.